1967, there have been 31 premiership matches between the two clubs. Canterbury have won 17, Cronulla have won 13, drawn 1. At Endeavour Field, there have been 12 games. Cronulla have won 7, Canterbury have won 5. Let's have a look now at both sides onto the field. And through come the Cronulla team, and this is the full side. Rick Burke, John Jarvie, Greg Mullane, Chris Gardner, Jim C, Gary Wright, Perry Haddock, Steve Rogers, Kurt Sorensen, Steve Neen, Dane Sorensen, Roland Beckett, Peter McNamara, and the coach, Greg Pearce. Now Canterbury, led by George Paponis, the full side. Greg Brentnell, Tony Armstrong, Chris Mortimer, Peter Mortimer, Steve Gearan, Gary Hughes, Steve Mortimer, Steve Folkes, Peter Casillas, Graham Hughes, John Coveney, George Paponis, Jeff Robinson, coach Ted Glossop. Referee, Mr. Kevin Roberts. Whistle blast, Kevin Roberts gets them away. Steve Gearan gets the first kick. Touched by Rick Burke, and he's going to lose possession, as you know. He just managed to get that on his foot, trying to kill it before he fell on it, and very nearly lost possession. But Cronulla in possession. Barry Ross on the sideline.
Yes, an ideal day for football down here. The ground's very, very good condition, and the wind favouring Canterbury Bankstown. It's a nor'easter, and Cronulla won the toss and decided to run against it in this first half, and so Canterbury have the use of it.
Just outside their quarter now, and little Perry Haddock, arguably the smallest man in rugby league. Dane Sorensen. Beckett. McNamara loses it behind. No knock on, that was the 6. Notice the Australian fullback Greg Brentnell tropping up into a blindside position. Scrum 10 yards outside the Cronulla quarter. It's underneath the Cronulla feet. Gary Wright. He's busted Gary Hughes. Away nicely there to Gardner. Gardner's steaming upfield fast, making good inroads, about 8 yards now from the Canterbury quarter line. Haddock with a long pass out to Neen. Neen back inside to Burke. Burke into the quarter. Under a swinging right arm tackle from Stephen Folkes. McNamara steams ahead. Wright was running so fast beside him he fell over. Sorensen nicely out to Mullane. Gardner can't crack the tackle, and as well for Canterbury, Armstrong hung on grimly there. Neen. And the run around with McNamara. Getting some ball skills, this young fella, Peter McNamara. Rogers gets a high bomb. Brentnell flies for it. It's going to be a try. No, Burke's wrapped it up. Oh, that went very close. 6 to go, a yard away. Canterbury under enormous pressure early. Beautifully weighted kick that from Rogers. Neen loses it behind, and that's the second tackle. Crisscross move. Beckett tries to go on his own. A lot of talking going on the Cronulla backs at the moment. Haddock. Gary Wright got a pass away and couldn't get it to Rogers properly. It went to ground. He dropped it and fell on it. This is Roland Beckett's batting average as far as hooking's concerned. 75 to 145. Steve Mortimer. Graham Hughes. He's offside. And penalised for it, Chris Gardner. Earlier games today, reserve grade, Cronulla 10, Canterbury 7. Third grade, Canterbury 13, Cronulla 8. Brentnell's kick is a towering punt and a good one. Good 25-yard game. Steve Mortimer, Paponis, back to Casillas. Beckett was the tackler. Paponis, Steve Mortimer, Stephen Folkes, on the quarter line. Paponis, Hughes, Coveney to his feet. Paponis now. Steve Mortimer floats a long one. That was well taken too by Tony Armstrong. He was hit just as he took it. Mortimer, Bacillus. Gave the beautiful pass to Steve Mead. Mead unloads it to right there to Gardner, who had 2 men over but couldn't get the pass away. Ed Blossom having a look at proceedings and wondering about the result of this game, no doubt. Haddock against Sorensen. McNamara. He doesn't actually run. It's more like a giant pachyderm lumbering along. Beautiful pass out there to Malay, but he's tackled effectively. Swung to the ground by Gearin. Paddock. Very right. Over the ball astray. Here's a try. Coming up surely to Stephen Folkes if he gets any sort of bounce. Well, he's been tackled only a metre away. Has Gardner, who got to it first. How, I'll never know. That's a certain try saved. Stephen Folkes didn't appear to be able to stride out then, Barry Ross.
I'm sorry, Rex?
Stephen Folkes, I thought, was a little bit quicker than that.
Yes, well, of course, the ball didn't come up as well as he thought it would. Then he kicked the ball and he only hit the edge of the ball and it bounced up in the air more than going forward. And of course, that enabled the Cronulla.
As I thought, he had a bit of a break and they all picked him up fairly smartly, didn't they?
Yes, they did, but I think he was slowing down watching the ball too.
And a ricochet, Greg Mullane onto Haddock. Little fella submerged under an Armstrong tackle. Up to halfway come Cronulla. With a breathing sigh of relief after that. Burke. Back inside to Rogers. Beautiful football from Rogers to Beckett. Involved twice in the play there. It's another Beckett scrum win, is it? It's not. It's a scrum loss, a penalty loss against Cronulla for collapsing the scrum. Scrums 4-1 in favour of the Sharks. Penalties 3-0 in favour of Canterbury. Still no score in the game. Penalty. Let's see that incident again. It's a rather futile thing to give away a penalty for a trivial thing like that. The referee was right. See McNamara holding the leg of the player, not allowing him to get to his feet. Gearin from 16 yards in from the sideline, a yard inside the quarter. Kicking across a light breeze. Just to have it aimed at the right-hand upright or just outside the right-hand upright. And that's exactly where it stays, though it fades late, but the breeze obviously not going to affect that very much. Still no score, and we've had 17 minutes play. Out on the full. Well, little can be said about that. There's Greg Pearce cogitating on how an international footballer can kick the ball out in the full. An Australian captain. They keep giving them to Gearin. He's going to kick one eventually. This is his simplest kick. Directly in front on the quarter line. Breeze such as it is at his back. Now there we go. So first blood to Canterbury, 2-0. Oh, Gearin makes a meal of it. No, I don't think it's a knock on. The referee indicating it's not. Britnell away to winger Armstrong, who's upended unceremoniously by Rogers. Paponis and Rogers, two Australian captains involved. Britnell getting that big left foot to it, and my heavens, it is a big one too. Burke takes it. going down a laundry chute, that was. Kurt Sorensen on the rampage up the blind side. Beckett. Paddock. Wright. He's going a bit crossfield today, Gary Wright. He's got to get himself moving forward to use that good step of his. Dane Sorensen on the surge. Paddock. Wright. Rogers. Beautiful pass out to Kurt Sorensen. Folks the tackle. Elaine, and that's the 6th. Paddock will be penalised for failing to retire. 6-0 the penalties at this stage in favour of Canterbury. The error situation, Cronulla 3, Canterbury 1. The score 2-0 in favour of Canterbury. Bonus, Armstrong. Casillas through one tackle. That's a high tackle, not a dangerous high tackle, but the referee has still spoken to Neen about it. Casillas injured, holding his back. He may have landed awkwardly. Neen, it wasn't a, let's see the whole incident again. It wasn't a head-high tackle in the accepted sense of a swinging arm. I think it was the knee of McNamara that's done the damage. Having said all that, in Neen's defence, it would be very stupid for him to continue to tackle high. He's been sent off a number of times in his career for high offences. Beautifully taken by Folks. Rolls along the ground. McNamara has it for Cronulla. That pass, a very amateurish effort. Jarvie busts 2 tackles. Had a full back line lined out there, and he had to go for the 3rd tackle bust. Rogers, Beckett, Wright, Burke. Canterbury defence is pretty strong. Doing our usual award today, the player we judged to be the best of this match. Receive $400 and appear on Sports World the following week. The Controversy Corner panel. As we get a pass popped up to sea from Neen. He's got no support at all. There's not another Cronulla player within 20 metres of him. Burke has to go down for that. And that's the 6th. Well, that was a tragedy for Cronulla. The pass from Neen was a good one midfield, putting C into the opening situation, and not a skerrick of support inside. That'll be another note in Greg Pearce's book. That pass may have been Neen McNamara. Cronulla get the ball back. Rogers, Wright, Burke. Beckett, nicely taken by Gary Wright. Gardner back to Wright. Back on the inside to Neen, who did very well to hold that. Right round his knees. Beckett, Paddock, Dane Sorensen. Giving Graham Hughes an indication of his power. Beckett, Paddock, McNamara. Lobs the pass over the top to Haddock. It's a long floating angle out to Gardner. Gardner's got a bit of room up the side. Goes for the big step. Oh, he's been tackled only about a yard away. Loses the ball. Bretnell has it. And the referee calling for the knock on. Steve Mortimer going into the scrum, burrowing his way in. and for Proponus going down on the broad of his back more specifically. Getting back to our award winner, the Controversy Corner panel will judge all the weekly award winners, and at the end of the season, the Mazda Footballer of the Year will receive a magnificent Mazda RX-7 as his prize, valued at $17,000. The player responsible for the King G try of the match each week receives $150. The player responsible for the Mazda try of the year will receive a mighty Mazda 626, valued at $9,564. Dane Sorensen, 3 yards out. Beckett, Rogers, nicely to Kurt Sorensen, and under a high one. He was travelling when he took that too. Neen, Paddock, McNamara, unloads back to Beckett. Beckett showing a reasonable step there to avoid Casillas. Last tackle. 2-0, Canterbury lead. Paddock's kick. Breton will go to fly. Oh, beautiful! What an object lesson this player is to any young footballer aspiring to be a fullback. Peter Mortimer.
Or a high jumper, Rex.
Yes, or almost anything that requires courage. Armstrong. 26 minutes gone. Just the penalty to Canterbury, the difference. Gary Hughes. That's a forward pass offside from Hughes. The referee in very good position to see that. Steve Mortimer has obviously made a comment. Let's see it again. This was the pass judged forward, and he's quite right. Rogers 10 yards in from the sideline and 2 yards into the quarter. 14 from 25. Success rate very good, 56%. He's hooked that one way away to the left. Didn't strike it well at all. And the score remains Canterbury 2, Cronulla. Proponus comes up with another scrum win for Canterbury. Chris Mortimer wrapped up. Greg Malone. Steve Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Peter Mortimer. Casillas. Very much a game of static defence at the moment. Like trench warfare. Gary Hughes. Steve Mortimer sights a gap through. Crossfield and loads nicely to Armstrong. Weaves his way forward. And that's only about 5 yards out. There's a big hole out there if they can move it. That could be it. That will be it. Gearing into the corner. Finally the touch judge has disallowed it. Head-on shot will be interesting on that one. Back to the quarter line. Let's see it again from head-on perhaps. Watch it. The long floater. Gearin put in the clear. The defence. Well, that's going to be a talked about one. The touch judge, as you can see, beautifully positioned. And one of those things that the camera, that's in the farthest point of the ground from us. And I'm not prepared to argue about that one. It'll be a very good decision by the touch judge, perhaps. Very controversial. Neen. And that one rattled his teeth. Folkes and Coveney. Yes, I thought that one wouldn't have done him a whole heap of good. Big Steve Neen. Dane Sorensen. And they've gone over the injured again. Jarvis picked up the loose ball and Neen really in trouble. He's been hit hard, knocked down and collapsed on. Kurt Sorensen runs away from Gary Hughes. Nicely back inside to C. C using good footwork and good acceleration. Now Cronulla with players positioned deeply. Rogers, Paddock, Malone. Nicely back inside the Gardner, then to Burke. Burke to Jarvie. Jarvie can't get his arms free. That's good football from Cronulla. Game come to life as an attacking entity in the last 5 minutes.
Neen on his feet coming back into the play now.
scrum win. That's the third in a row to George Papanis. And the ball's gone to ground. Graham Hughes came in to kick the ball away. May have connected with the boot. See it again. It was accidental. It's Steve Neen again. There he was. And Gary Hughes lashing out for the ball. May have got Neen again. He's really been in the wars. Dane Sorensen. Pickett. McNamara. Big fella needs to get into running shoes, in my view. Sprinting shoes. Takes too long a stride. Rick Burke. Good tackle. Look for the bomb now from Rogers. Rogers number 8. And she goes. It's not gone far enough forward. Who's got it? Gearin. Got a minute and a half to go. Unofficial time. Error situation. Cronulla 5, Canterbury 5. Number of times each side's given the ball back to the opposition. Steve Mortimer. Casillas, the workhorse. Steve Mortimer's kick is not going to find touch. Jarvie has it. Well, he couldn't have gone quicker to the defence than he did then. Rick Burke. Jarvie, 2 yards from halfway. Haddock. Dane Sorensen. Away to Rogers. Then to Beckett. It's a bad pass that's taken there by Mortimer. Peter. Armstrong. Graham Hughes. Rogers rides him into the ground. Unofficial time. Under half a minute to go. Chris Mortimer. Gary Hughes, Steve Mortimer, Casillas. Back inside to Steve Mortimer. Pops one over the top to Armstrong. Canterbury at their best after Steve Mortimer pops up one to Peter Mortimer. It goes over the sideline off to Chris Gardner kick. So at the half-time break, an intensely interesting game of football with little in it. Canterbury leading by 2 points to 0. Steve Gearin responsible for that penalty goal, and he's had 1 from 3. No score yet to Cronulla. We'll be back in just a moment with all the action of the second half of Seven's Big League. Just having a look at that incident, the Gearin no try. The referee touch judge there, Max Thompson, very difficult decision for him to have to make, but we're on the impression, having looked at it closely about a dozen times, that Gearin did score a try in the corner. You'll see Thompson drop his flag at some stage there and have to go on and pick it up and wave it frantically. But nonetheless, a very difficult decision to make, and I'm glad it was Thompson having to make it, not myself. Now 2-0 at half-time. Barry Ross has been in the dressing rooms with 6 to go. The referee Robert says, Barry.
Yes, there's some drama in both dressing rooms today, Rex. Firstly, on that Steve Gearin try, they were adamant, the Canterbury players, and Steve Gearin himself, that he had scored. He said that linesman Thompson had ruled that he touched the corner post before grounding the ball. Anyway, Canterbury were very concerned with the scrums, as we said in the first half. Ted Glossop pointed out that Cronulla were screwing the scrum on their own feet, and that they had to tighten up in this regard. He was happy with their defence, and they've got to be aware of the kick this half with the Cronulla side having the win. Cronulla, meanwhile, John Jarvie, the winger, the left winger, had about 10 stitches inserted in a very bad cut on his lip. And he's gone back on now, and Greg Pearce spent some time pointing out to the Cronulla defenders they should watch the blind side and watch for Brentnall's raids.
Right, so an intensely interesting game this. The game poised, one feels, watching it, for the first try scorer to win it. That's a Papona's scrum win, Brentnall, from a Steve Mortimer pass. Armstrong, wrapped up by a little Haddock. Steve Mortimer. Graham Hughes. Steve Mortimer. Folks still penned inside their quarter. Coveney. Dane Sorensen down below. Lean over the top. Now that's a penalty against Cronulla for inside the 5. Brentmore's left foot kick is a low ground gainer. About 25 yards with that one. Right through the middle, there's Armstrong. Beautifully tackled, the pass is astray. Cronulla will come up with it through Rogers. He gets it quickly to Gary Wright. He starts a raid immediately. With a little step, he had men in support there. I think he would have been well advised to have passed. Colin Beckett. Clever bit of football from Rogers there. Get to the loose ball and scoop it up straight away to Gary Wright. McNamara loses the ball in the tackle. Ewan comes up with it. A hard hit from Graham Hughes caused that ball to jolt out of his hands. Robinson. Paponis, Steve Mortimer. Casillas crossfield. Buster. And finally a despairing dive from Gary Wright puts him down. Hughes, switcher play from Mortimer across to Brentwell. Cronulla defence now being put to the test. Mortimer drops it behind him, no knock on. Gary Hughes, Folks. Lane the tackler. Gary Hughes, a little dummy. Got it away to Graham Hughes nicely, then to Peter Mortimer. Clever bit of play by Hughes, running one way virtually and passed the ball back the way he was coming. Scrum win. Cronulla, Paddock. Beckett finds a hole in the defence outside the quarter. Rogers calling for ball runners. Dane Sorensen. Got Canterbury moving backwards now if they can keep the impetus going. Rogers. Burke. Rogers, Paddock, Gary Wright, Malane. Kurt Sorensen. He had in his mind to pass that, but the Graham Hughes tackle was too good. There's Hatch, who's likely to be Steve Neen's replacement, should he come off. He scored 2 tries. In which match was that? Against whom, Barry?
It's Western Suburbs, I think, wasn't it? A couple of weeks ago.
And was dropped the week after for the next match. Differential penalty. (9-2) penalties in favour of Canterbury Bankstown. Negating the strong scrum count they've got. Gearin. Crisscross move. Folks evades one tackle. That of Steve Neen. Panis, now Robinson. Gary Hughes was running off his shoulder there, and although couldn't unload the pass. The Panis, Steve Mortimer, will kick over the top. Oh, gee, Wright went for a long floater there. That's going to be a try, is it? Yes, it is. It's a one-hand put down. That's a clever bit of play. Very clever bit of play from Armstrong. A little kick through, and Gary Wright should be chastised for this, trying to knock the ball dead. That cost Eastern Suburbs a try only last week against Parramatta. See it again. Gary Wright with that absurd business of trying to punch the ball away like a soccer goalkeeper. Watch Armstrong get it down. Good one. Gearin now from yard in from the sideline, directly on the quarter line, kicking across this light breeze. Oh, he's kicked it from the sideline. That is a great goal, and his skipper, George Paponis, gives him a round of applause back at halfway. Cronulla 0, Canterbury 7. Haddock stolen it. Who's got it? No, Canterbury come up with it. Brentwell was the man that fell on that, the fullback. Peter Mortimer, beautiful little body swerve, got himself into the clear. He's evaded. No, he hasn't. Haddock puts him down to the halfway line, just by one leg. Now Graham Hughes running onto the ball well. Cronulla in disarray now. Canterbury backs line very deep. Brentwell. Midfield between the quarter and halfway. Gary Hughes sets up a dump for Chris Mortimer.
Get him back on side, Robert.
Steve Mortimer runs from dummy half to Folks. Folks came under a high tackle there, an attempted swinging arm tackle from Kurt Sorensen. Penalty situation, 9-3 in favour of Canterbury. There's the Paponis stats, 71 from 121. 58.7% success ratio. Differential scrum penalty to Canterbury.
Come on, George.
Paponis, Steve Mortimer, Casillas. Lose the ball. The referee says play on. Gary Hughes. Right, the tackler. Paponis. No one to pass to, he thought. Coveney from dummy half. A surge. Might be a drop goal on here at some stage. There's the move. Beautifully executed by Graham Hughes. Graham Hughes may go well close to scoring. He is. That's a great bit of football. He instituted that, the favourite move Canterbury put on by they involved their fullback, and on this occasion it didn't go the usual way. He showed it inside, then out. Classy bit of play. Brentwell unloaded. Mortimer got it away to Graham Hughes, and the big dive. That's a great one. Let's see it from head on. The crisscross move. Everybody took the dummy. There's the lovely bit of play. The unloading of the pass to Graham Hughes. What a quality bit of work that was. Even at 10-0, Ted Glossop, the Canterbury coach, is not going to get a victory smile. He's going to save it all up until the end. Gearin, 10 yards in from the sideline, about a foot and a half out from the quarter. Across that light breeze. Struck that beautifully. It's over. 12-0. Canterbury lead. And one would think that's a winning lead. Robinson did well, took that on the half volley, manages to unload. Paponis, Casillas. Kurt Sorensen swung him to the ground. Coveney, Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes, Chris Mortimer. Folks, little dummy, that's the halfway line. Steve Mortimer decided on that one, got himself right through the gap, run around the fence, lobs it back on the inside. Oh yes, good play by Steve Mortimer. Now they've got it on the move. Gary Hughes unloads nicely to Paponis. Paponis gets it away. And play just finishing with Armstrong about a metre from the line. There's Bretnell on the charge. Who's in now? Coveney, I think, has taken the final pass and surged over the line, and this is now becoming an embarrassment to Cronulla. Canterbury 15, very likely 17. See it again. It came from that magic break by Steve Mortimer, and the stand-up in the tackle there, the unload to Coveney and surging over from head-on. Bretnell stood up in that tackle there. Coveney takes it from him, and right on the line he scored it. Gearin, 1 yard inside the quarter, 20 yards from the sideline. Rubbing salt into the wound, and the scoreline now an embarrassment. Canterbury 17, Cronulla 0. See a replay of this match next Sunday morning at 9:30. Rick Burke as Cronulla win a scrum. 27 minutes gone. It's got to be a penalty. Rogers clapping for the ball. Replay of this game next Sunday morning on Channel 7 at 9:30. Sports World starting at 10:30. 2.5 hours of solid sporting action. Haddock. Beckett. Gardner. Canterbury's defence has been one of the outstanding features of this game. McNamara. And Sorensen. Hatch took that well. Gets up, plays it forward, has another run at them. And he's going to do it on his own because there's nobody. Coveney has been called out for an incident in that tackle. And Robinson. Little punch being thrown. From head on, watch it. Oh, there it was. A bit late and behind George Paponis. We couldn't see through George. I don't really know why they kick for touch in those situations. I'll just take the tap and do it quickly. McNamara. Cronulla have starting to earn the ire of their supporters, and there's a try to Beckett through the dummy and went straight through. Canterbury very slack on that occasion, been told to come and pick up the ball. 17-3, too little and too late. See it again. The opponent's having a fair bit to say. There's Beckett just finding a gap. There it was. Rogers' kick is successful, so the score reduced. Canterbury 17, Cronulla 5.
Converted by Steve Rogers.
Gearin restarts. Just 9.5 minutes to go now. An impossible task for Cronulla, one would think. Kurt Sorensen, Corey Haddock. Beckett. A loose pass away, picked up by Gary Wright. McNamara out there nicely to Greg Mullane. Dummies back on the inside to Jarvie. Jarvie gets it away there to Wright. Wright tackled about 15 yards out. Suddenly Cronulla have come to life. Haddock, Dane Sorensen, Rogers. Long floating pass to Kurt Sorensen. Unloads out there to C. C evades one tackle. No, he doesn't. That's the last. No, second last. Beckett. Burke. And this is the last coming up now. Now, what's the Haddock plan? McNamara, play on. It'll be 6 to go. Hatch has got it. That was the knockdown in flight by a Canterbury player. Gardner. Dane Sorensen. Nicely to Greg Malone, and he's in for a try. So they've come up with 2 tries in 2 minutes. Incredible. Suddenly Canterbury have opened up. Now there's the side-on shot. A look at the head-on shot. Kurt Sorensen, Dane Sorensen, carrying the ball in his hands. Malone steps and over the line through a Gary Hughes tackle. Rogers' 4th attempted goal. That didn't miss by very much. He's had a bit of bad luck with a few of his kicks, but the score remains Canterbury 17, Cronulla 8. Look, can Cronulla keep the impetus going? Burke. Robertson, the tackler. Dane Sorensen. Haddock. Gary Wright running as a foil. Kurt Sorensen runs straight ahead. Haddock. Gary Wright. Rogers. Out there to C. C's got a bit of pace. Nice pass back inside to Rogers. Elects to kick. It's gone off the side of his foot. What a terrible kick. Had Canterbury shot to ribbons on that occasion. Barry Haddock. Away to... picked up. The referee says not dropped, and he was right. And Sorensen showed enormous strength then to not allow himself to be pushed over the line. That's a terrible pass, beautifully picked up by Wright. That didn't give the recipient any chance, and Canterbury come up with the ball. Burke put under enormous pressure there. Beautiful pass to Gearin. He should have said Armstrong. There's the ball free now into Beckett's hands. We think about 15 seconds to go. McNamara. Beckett. Haddock. Sorensen. Pass has gone very much astray. Who wants it? Greg Malone has it. There's the hooter. And the scoreline at full time reads Canterbury Bankstown 17, Cronulla Sutherland 8. Our award winner was Greg Brentnell, the Australian and Canterbury fullback, who was involved in 3 of the Canterbury tries, was very, very safe under pressure, wasn't called on for any great defence, but took the bombs with rare precision and great aplomb. Now, the results in this very interesting round of football was still one match to play on Easter Monday, of course. Canterbury 17, Cronulla 8, the match we televised. South Sydney 9, defeated Eastern Suburbs 5 at Redfern Oval. Parramatta, wait for this, 54, have defeated Canberra 3 at Belmore. St George finally back in the winning list, 37, Illawarra 5. Western Suburbs, in a highly controversial finish, have got up by 1 point, 21 to defeat Penrith 20. I'm told there was some area of doubt about the last Western Suburbs try. North Sydney 13 defeated Balmain 8, and of course Manly and Newtown to play at Brookvale Oval tomorrow. We'll be televising that match at the different time of 7:30. Now the competition table looks this way: Parramatta on 12, Canterbury 11, Manly with a match to play, South Sydney and West's all on 10, Cronulla and North Sydney on 7. Eastern Suburbs, St George and Balmain on 6, Newtown on 5 with that match to play against Manly, Penrith 4, Illawarra 2, Canberra yet to record a point in the competition table.